I want to ask you something, and I want you to actually think about the answer before you keep watching. How much money did you save last year? Now, how much did that money grow? If the answer is almost nothing, then we have something important to talk about. Because I spent years being proud of how much I was saving, and the whole time quietly, without me noticing, inflation was eating it alive. Nobody told me that. Nobody in my house knew that. And if you are watching this, there is a chance nobody told you either. My name is Manu Matthew. I grew up in India. I moved to UK when I was 14 and I built my understanding of money from scratch. Through mistakes, through losses, through wasted years. This channel is everything I wish I had known when I started. Stick around because this video might change the way you think about money for the rest of your life. I moved to the UK from India when I was 14 years old. My parents didn't move here chasing luxury. They moved here chasing stability. A chance to give me and my family something better. My dad and mom both took work in healthcare industry, working minimum wage. They did it without complaint, without drama, because in our family that was just what you did. And from a very early age I watched that. I absorbed it. I watched my parents count every pound. I watched them stretch every paycheck. I watched them sacrifice everything they wanted so that we could have what we needed. And without anyone ever saying the words, I learned the rule. Save, don't spend, be careful, be safe. That was the financial education in my household. And honestly, I'm not here to criticize it because at that time it was survival. And survival was what was needed. But here is what I didn't understand until much later. There is a difference between not losing money and actually building wealth. And nobody in my world knew that difference. Not because they weren't smart, not because they didn't care, but simply because nobody had ever shown them. I wasn't someone who sat around waiting for things to happen. Through college and university, I worked. I worked a lot. I'm talking around 15 different part-time jobs across those years. Retail, hospitality, delivery, anything I could get. Not because I was forced to, but because I refused to be a burden on my parents. They were doing enough. So I earned my own money. I paid my own expenses. And when I finished university and started earning properly, I did exactly what I had been taught to do. I put money in the bank, I saved hard, I built up my account. And I genuinely believed I was crushing it. My balance was growing, I wasn't in debt, I wasn't wasting money. In my head, I was winning. What I didn't know, what nobody had ever explained to me was that inflation in the UK was quietly, steadily eroding the real value of every pound I was saving. The number in my account was going up, but what I could actually buy with it, that was going down. I was running a race. And I didn't even know I was standing still. Then I discovered investing, or what I thought was investing. And I want to be transparent with you here because this is the part most financial creators skip. I made mistakes, real ones, expensive ones. I started trading. I chased stocks I had seen in news. I put money into companies I had heard hyped in conversations. I made bets on early startups because someone told me it was going to be the next big thing. I wasn't reckless. I wasn't gambling for the thrill of it. I genuinely thought I was doing the right thing. But I had no structure, no strategy, no understanding of how any of it actually worked. I was operating on hype, hope, and headlines. And I lost money. Not everything, but enough. Enough to hurt, enough to shake my confidence, enough to make me think maybe investing just isn't for people like me. Maybe it's a game for people with finance degrees, for people who grew up with money, for people whose parents sat around the dinner table talking about ISAs and index funds. But that wasn't my table. And if you are watching this, I'm probably guessing it probably wasn't yours either. Around 2018, something shifted. I stopped chasing, I stopped reacting, I stopped trying to be clever, and I started learning properly, slowly, from first principles. I learned what compounding actually means, and I mean really means, not just the definition, but the weight of it. What it means over 10, 20, 30 years. I learned about diversification, why putting everything on one company is a bet, not an investment strategy. I learned about index funds, about long-term thinking, about the difference between a portfolio built on discipline and one built on emotion. And I opened a stocks and shares ISA, which for anyone watching in the UK is one of the most powerful tax-efficient tools available to you. And most people have never even heard of it. That's when things started to change. Not overnight, not dramatically. There was no moment where I woke up wealthy, but steady, structured compounding. The kind of growth that doesn't feel like much in year 1, but by year 5, by year 10, it completely changes what's possible for you. So, why am I making this channel? Because I wasted years where my money could have been working for me. And instead it was sitting in a current account slowly losing value because I made expensive mistakes that didn't need to happen. If only someone had given me a clear, honest roadmap. Because I know what it feels like to grow up in a household where investing was never discussed, where the stock market felt like something that happened to other people, where asking for financial advice felt embarrassing or out of reach or just not for someone with your background. And I refuse to let the next generation of first-time investors go through what I went through. This channel is for you if you are new to investing and don't know where to start. You have been saving for years but feel like you are falling behind. You are scared of losing money, so you have avoided the whole thing. Or you are part of a community where no one ever talked about this stuff and you are ready to change that. I'm not here to sell you the dream of getting rich fast. I'm here to show you the boring, disciplined, long-term approach that actually works. No hype, no predictions, no hot tips. Just clear, honest, beginner-friendly content built specifically for the UK. Here is what I want you to take away from this video. Saving money is not the same as building wealth. Keeping your money safe is not the same as making it grow. And choosing not to invest because it feels risky or complicated or not for people like us is itself a financial decision, one with real consequences. But it's never too late to start. Whether you are 22 or 42, whether you have £10 a month to invest or 1,000. The principles are the same. The compounding works the same. You just have to start. And you have to start with the right foundation. That's what this channel is here to give you. If this video gave you even one thing to think about, hit subscribe. Because every video I post is designed to move you one step closer to financial clarity. And if you know someone who needs to hear this, a friend, a sibling, a cousin who has been putting this stuff off, share it with them. Thanks for watching and I will see you in the next one.